What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 28 of Couples Coverage. I'm your host, Nicholas Moriano, and as always, I'm joined by my beautiful and amazing co-host, Stephanie Bonse. What's going on, babe?
Hi. Welcome back. We're 2 away from 30 now.
2 away from episode 30, and we're actually, we had a podcast come out last week, and guess what? We're recording the very next week. There wasn't any delay, and this is how we do it right here. This is how we build the couples coverage. Yeah, how we build momentum for couples coverage. So proud of us.
And our subscribers went up, so we are getting a lot closer to 100. So maybe this one will do it.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yes, we're episode 28. Hopefully everyone's been having a good start to May.
It's already May.
Right? Is that right? Yeah, May. Isn't it crazy that we're already in May?
It is, because I felt like April just flew by so quickly. I don't like April started and ended, and then we got to May.
I know. I feel like the first few months of the year always fly by, but at this point, we're not even at the first few months anymore. We're like, well, I guess still the first half of the year, but it's
going
just,
though.
Yeah,
like summer's gonna be here, and
it's been a very springy spring.
Oh yeah, it's been like raining and crazy and hot, and then in between that, like, make sure you bring your hoodies and jackets, because again, we live in this, Chicagoland area, so
I'm a fan of the rain, though. I actually do like when it's raining, but now that we have a pup and he's terrified, now I always think of him when it rains. I'm always like, oh, he's gonna be scared.
Yeah, but he does not like rain, but also when it rains, you got to make sure to put your windows up.
Oh, I know. It's like the one thing I always forget.
Yeah, and of course you leave your windows down, and then that next day there's some type of rain that comes and goes, and
at this point I'm kind of like, it's fine, because I never have my windows like all the way down anyways, so even if like a little bit of rain gets in there, I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah, whatever, we'll see the damage when
it'll be fine. It'll dry up.
Yeah, no doubt. So we have a couple of things planned for this podcast, but before we get into some of the topics, just want to make sure that everybody likes and subscribes Couples Coverage, and you can do that on YouTube. You can also hit that bell notification, so every time this podcast comes out on a weekly, consistent basis, you'll know about it. You can also, if you're someone who likes to listen to podcasts in the car on a ride home and just the audio version, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere really that you listen to your podcasts, you can find the Couples Coverage Podcast. So make sure to subscribe and just tell a friend about us. And, we actually had a couple of comments left on the last video. Love seeing that. So if there's anything that you relate to in the topics that we talk about, please leave a comment, and then also tell your friends about the Couples Coverage Podcast on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you.
No problem.
So I guess to start off, well, I feel like we kind of have a lot going on this month.
Mm-hmm.
We have Mother's Day coming up.
Yeah. My dad's birthday was just yesterday.
No, I thought it was today.
Oh, sorry. I gave him a shout out yesterday, and today's Tuesday, so it is today.
You scared me. I was like, wait, what the heck? I completely missed it.
I already said happy birthday to my dad this morning, and then on the Bears show that I do, I gave him a shout out because we weren't doing a show live today.
Aww.
So I was like thrown off. But yeah, today's my dad's birthday, 58 years old, so. Aww. Shout out to you, Dad.
Yeah, shout out to you. Happy birthday. And hopefully we get to go on like a bike ride soon. I've been wanting to do that because your dad just like, he can go.
when he's not like wiping out, he could just go forever on a bike. It's crazy. Like, I was actually thinking about that one day. Like, obviously, like, I do my things in the gym, but he loves to do the bike riding. I don't think I can keep up with my dad. Long distance wise.
Yeah, no,
I don't think. Yeah, he can go forever. So. And
we did one with him last year, and I don't think I could like walk the next day.
Oh, it was painful. Like, it's like, how do you position yourself? Like, the settings on the bike, the height of it. Like, I think that all plays a big factor into how much work you're actually doing. Yeah. But my dad has that all down, so I'll have to get some pointers when we do go on that next bike ride.
Yeah, I just remember when we were kind of towards the end of the ride, he was like, all right, I'll meet you guys at the car, and he like took off.
I'm like, all right, Dad, see ya. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, okay, shout out, happy birthday. What else? We've been watching. Okay, so I guess this is just kind of like what we've been up to, kind of. And actually, it made me think about it a little bit because we were just hanging out with friends a while ago, and one of your friends, Parker, asked us what we've been watching.
Yeah.
And so something we've been doing a lot lately is watching a ton of Kitchen Nightmares and Hotel Hell, right? That's what it's called?
Is it Hotel Hell?
Yeah, I think so. It's the same concept, but instead of like restaurants, he goes to hotels.
Gordon Ramsay, of course, we're talking about. The Kitchen Nightmares, Hell's Kitchen, all like early 2000s. You could tell from like the intro and how it goes. Like it's Gordon Ramsay standing there and knives are being thrown to him. It looks like the most basic graphics possible.
Like the most horrible graphics ever.
Yeah.
But actually I had never seen the intro until we were at my parents' the other day. And I was like, this is the intro for it? Like this would have been like a dead giveaway to me that this is a super old show. Because when we were watching, I couldn't always tell, like, how recent is this? I couldn't tell, but that would have been a giveaway.
Yeah, just watching that, I could just tell, just like, once you get to watching things in HD, you can tell when things were not recorded in HD. You can just tell with that. But why do you think we like it so much? Like, we turn it on, is it just we're eating dinner and we're just watching it? I feel like I'm invested and want to watch, even if they're episodes that I've already seen before. Like I'm watching and I'm thoroughly entertained from like this old TV show.
I'm like entertained / like cringing / I feel like I'm getting yelled at, and I'm like, I just get so surprised that people, well, I don't know, I guess I've never really looked into it, but I'm surprised that people are willing to like show like TV audience like what their restaurant looks like when you know it's that bad and you're calling Gordon Ramsay for help. Like, why would you want people to like see what your restaurant, like how it was being run,
I think they're just desperate because when you're seeing some of these kitchens and these restaurants, I mean, you're seeing everything from chefs that don't know how to cook, gum stuck under every single table, bugs over dishes,
the bugs.
Just people in the communication being so off that orders are being lost and people
everything's
are waiting.
Always frozen.
Everything's always frozen. People waiting. I can't even think, like people waiting 2 hours to get their food. I would be so pissed. We would not be. We would not wait 2 hours for any type of food.
No.
Anywhere, because like that's just outrageous. But that, I wonder if that's just the norm at those restaurants.
You would be so funny and like so animated going to those restaurants. Like, I've been waiting 2 hours for this.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. Like it would be kind of funny, but also like I would be kind of angry at that point. It's like, it'd be very animated.
Well, because I do think they invite people, right, to come when they're going to do like their relaunch and like the new menu and all that stuff. Or I think even just when Gordon Ramsay goes to see how it's been getting run, I think they invite people and like they invite them to say like honestly what they think. Because these people are like sending back stuff all the time, and maybe it was a different time and people just did that more, but I know now people are like, oh, I can't like send things back, like I'm too embarrassed to send things back.
Well, we just went to dinner not too long ago to a place that we love going to. It's called CityWorks, and I remember I made that comment, like, how many times do you think in this restaurant today somebody has sent something back? We love going there. Like, that's the place. If we can't decide on a place to go eat, let's just go to CityWorks.
Yeah.
But everything we get is so good, and it's done, served in a timely manner. But like, I was just thinking, like, how often are they getting plates sent back?
Yeah.
And what I said, like, what if none got sent back? Like, if people were just satisfied with their meal. But like in these shows, obviously they're not in the good situation for multiple different reasons, and stuff's getting sent back, not made right. It's so fascinating. Yeah, it's embarrassing too for those people.
Yeah. But I think we were like asking like, why do we like it? I think it's because it's like obviously drama, but it like we live a pretty like drama free life. So just being like seeing some drama is always entertaining,
Yeah, and so I like Gordon Ramsay. I think that just I think he does play a little bit of a character on that show because I was like reading articles afterwards, all the yelling and stuff. Yes, he does yell, but also afterwards, like it's been reported that he is very helpful too in trying to help these people get into a better situation. But seeing him in some of the one-liners that he has, like they're hilarious.
The best one-liners.
Yeah, he's insulting.
You
just
wet noodle.
You wet noodle. Or he's like, he called one of the guys a little bit more heavy. Say, he just called him fatty or whatever. It's like, he's really direct, and that's the thing. That's what I kind of like about him too. And maybe it is he's just putting it for the show, for the cameras, but he's not sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
And you know how sometimes in life you can kind of, if you're maybe talking with friends, family, you're not going to maybe be as honest as you would be if you were like anonymous or something.
True.
With something. But he is like awful. You could not serve it, whatever it may be. Like he's putting it out there and just giving his full 100% opinion. And that I do appreciate that. But it's also just hilarious to see him just going after people and kind of just picking them apart a little bit.
Yeah. And I think it's very satisfying to see these people who are clearly very delusional and who don't have the experience, like take on something like a restaurant that, like you could really like hurt people if you like serve them the wrong thing or whatever. And these people are just like delusional enough to believe that they can do it and like not go by like the food, like follow food safety rules and stuff. And so then it's satisfying for me to watch them like get it from Gordon Ramsay, because it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But also, I do like seeing some of the turnaround that does happen. And like when he goes into the restaurant, it gets kind of like a makeover, especially in the dining room, kitchen. They get the right supplies and things like that. And it is cool seeing those people that, look, they're investing a lot. Like they're taking out these huge loans and their credits on the line. Really, their lives are on the line. Yeah. So it is satisfying to see that there is this like I don't know, it's kind of being reborn, redone, and another chance. And I also did read like not a lot of those restaurants end up being that success or maintaining success because they're so far deep into debt. So it is unfortunate, but it is nice to see that quick turnaround, even if it's just for a couple years. But we love it though. We love
We're
watching
talking about it as if it's like the most recent show, but if you haven't watched it, it's super entertaining, and there's a ton of episodes. Also, it's like fun to see now, like, oh, we need to like look up if this restaurant is still open. We always have to check at the end.
Yeah, that's true. So we've been watching that. That's early 2000s with Hell's Kitchen and Hotel Hell and Kitchen Nightmare. Those shows. But we also just stumbled upon another show, and this one was filmed in 2024, so the most recent you can get.
So let's not give too much away with this one because this one's new.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have, what is it on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, if you have Amazon Prime, you need to watch the show called Dance Life. We have been watching it like these past couple of nights, and I don't know about you, but like the show is always making me like tear up because it's kind of following the journey of these students who've been dancing their entire lives, and
Australian kids too. These kids are they're college students.
Yes.
They're college students.
And they're kind of trying to turn their passion for dance into a career out in the real world. So it's just kind of like following their journey and like the pressure that they have. And when we see how nervous they are before these performances and then to watch them like do so good, I was getting so teary-eyed. I feel so proud for them.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of great individual stories that are being told throughout I think it's 6 episodes, and they're about 45 minutes, a little bit longer than that each, and you connect with a lot of these people. But for me, I just didn't realize how much went into the dancing.
Being a professional dancer.
The professional dancer, there's a lot of pain, there's injury, there's like overcoming, like not only like there's overcoming adversity for a lot of different reasons. One, it's a competition. Like if you're in sports, you're going to relate to this show because you're around some of the best kind of dancers. And it's just like any basketball, football, soccer team that maybe you've been on where it's like you're trying to compete with some of the best that are all like fighting for one spot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. They're all friends, but you're also competing against your friends for like that solo dance or that spotlight, because there's certain people on the crowd that maybe they identify one of the dancers to get an agent.
And stuff, yeah.
So I found that really fascinating, just watching that and just kind of watching each of these, again, college students go through this rigorous course of trying to make it as a professional dancer.
I know. And we haven't finished it yet, so we kind of don't fully know the ending, or hopefully there's another season to this. I'm sure there will be, but yes, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it, give it a try, and let us know what you think if you do. Or if you have, let us know what you think if you've already watched it.
Yeah, so Amazon Prime, Dance Life. It's a good show to, again, only 5 or 6 episodes, so it's not going to take up too much time, and you'll become invested, because we just turned it on. We take forever sometimes.
And now
to
we're
watch
like
something.
pretending like we like.
Oh my gosh! Like you see some of the routine and how quickly that's so impressive. How quickly they can pick things up.
I can't imagine like trying to learn a routine in 30 minutes. Because there's so much that goes into it, and then the way that they say it, like these choreographers, it's not like they're saying like the name of what you're doing, right? Because I don't think there's a name for everything, obviously. Maybe in like the technical part of it, but they're always like da 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 da, and like you're just following the beat of what they're doing and like hitting every mark. And I'm like, how in the world? Like, there's just so much pressure, but so good.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like, if you're a visual learner, that's great, but it's like now you have to visually watch what the instructor's doing and then do it and then perform like right then and there in front of everybody. That is so nerve-wracking, and you just need to have such a keen eye and just good recognition skill, all that stuff. It's crazy. It's fascinating, but now I have so much more of an appreciation and respect for dancers and what they have to do to make a routine happen. So you have to watch it. Amazon Prime, Dance Life. Like, we're promoting it like it's,
I know.
like it's like we're getting paid to, but we're not. It's just a good show. So, and like I was saying earlier, like we sometimes we'll be scrolling through the different Amazon Prime, Netflix,
trying to find
something, and then we saw that one. It had 5 stars review. So boom, clicked it, and now we're talking about it on the podcast. So I think before we get to some of the other topics we want to talk about, I think we should tell everybody about our awesome partner with Owen, which stands for Only What You Need. Of course, we have our pre-made Owen shakes. This is the double shot 20-gram protein shake, caramel macchiato. If you're looking for a little bit of a boost with some caffeine, but also get your protein intake, this is going to be the protein shake for you. They also have a bunch of different flavors in the double shot. And then if you're someone like me who just needs a protein shake after a workout or just need a little bit extra protein in your diet throughout the day, the Elite protein shakes have 32 grams of protein. The No Nut Buttercup, delicious flavor. They also have another protein shake that's 20 grams as well. Variety of flavors, so you can't really go wrong when it comes to Owen and what you're looking for. They also just came out that I saw just following their Instagram social media. They have some powders, but you can also get the powder version of the Elite protein shake. So if you like to, add some other stuff in the blender, the NutriBullet or whatever, the Ninja, you can do that, add the protein in there. So you got to check out Owen. Again, this is 100% plant-based, no net carbs. And if you go on liveowen.com, put everything in your cart, and then use the promo code COUPLEGOALS, you actually save 15% off your first purchase. So you stock up, use that promo code, save 15% off, and then a little bit comes back to us here at Couples Cover. So everybody is winning. So make sure to stock up on all your Owen products. Use that promo code COUPLEGOALS and couple goals and stay up to date with all your Owen products.
Thanks, Owen. All right, switching gears here.
Switching gears, big time.
Big time. Okay. So this past weekend actually, should I just let you kind of go into it a little bit?
Yeah, so earlier last week on Tuesday, and this is where like it really does change gears here on the podcast, and I don't even know if we've ever really talked about this serious of a topic before, but my grandfather passed away on last Tuesday. And it wasn't something unexpected. My family, kind of knew it was going to happen. But obviously, even though we knew it was tough to go through. So that happened on Tuesday, and then this past weekend on Saturday we had the funeral for my grandfather, Papa Chris. Gonna miss you, but what we kind of wanted to talk about with like this topic is that you for when something like that happens, like you have a lot of people obviously come together, and I haven't seen a lot of my cousins and my dad's side of the family in a long time, but it's unfortunate that it takes some of those types of, I don't know, events or things in life to bring family or friends together. But although even though it was like a very sad time, I was very fortunate and happy to see some of my family members and friends of the family to come and support just my grandfather's life. Like we went to the wake
Friday.
The Friday, so the day before the funeral, and front and center is my grandfather, open casket, but then over to the side are all these pictures, and you just kind of get to see his life and all the things that he did, and how much you could just see, not only from the people there but through the pictures, how much he lived life.
Yeah.
All the things he did and everything that he was able to have an opportunity to do, like that was really cool for me, because a lot of those pictures I'm just seeing for the first time,
right?
And it was really I don't know, it just hit home, like seeing all those pictures and seeing all the people there, and just I got to sign a soccer ball, because my grandpa used to play soccer professionally in Ecuador for a bunch of different club teams, so we got to everyone signed a soccer ball. But it was just really, again, although it was sad, it was really cool to see all the support and love that my grandpa got, and
all the people that he brought together.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you really think about it, I know I was kind of thinking like, wow, there's so many people in this room, some that I was meeting for the first time too, but it's like when you really think about it, it's like all these people are here because of your grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And like all these families that have started because of them, and like the love that they had for each other. And it was just really cool to get to see that he had so many like moments like captured in the pictures and stuff. And I know personally for me, like I have very, very few pictures of my grandparents and even my parents when they were younger. So the fact that like you have those pictures of your grandpa when he was younger, and even of your dad when he was younger, it was really like special to see. And I think it does kind of have like this bittersweet like feeling to it, because he did get to live a very long life, and it doesn't make it easier, but it is nice to see like all the stuff that he accomplished.
No doubt. And like seeing that he was one of 19.
One of 19, yeah.
Like that's insane to even like think about in today's age of like in terms of family sizes. And then there was a really cool old picture, like him kind of dribbling a soccer ball or kicking it up, and he's looking up. Like that's so cool and vintage. And
there was one picture that I'm gonna remember, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but it was him, and I don't know, I think I was talking to someone who was saying maybe he was with his soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was this like black and white photo, and there was like some bottles on the table, and I think someone was like smoking a cigarette or something, or a cigar, but it looked so like old and like
school.
Vintage, obviously.
Vintage,
but it just looked like the cover of like a magazine or something, like just everyone like around that circle table,
and like seeing some of those pictures, someone commented, I don't remember who was there, but they're like, he kind of has like this not a rock star look, but he has a certain like movie star kind of look in some of the pictures. I'm like, I could see that. And like that picture that you were describing, it's like movie star-esque. Like he just, he just had that persona. And like for my grandfather, for people who obviously don't know him, like he was somebody that always was dancing. Like I will never be as good as dancer as my grandfather was, because like if he heard music, he can just move to the rhythm and just he can feel it. And he was also like I told you, super athletic, playing for the club team in Ecuador for soccer. But you gave him a basketball, he just knew how to shoot it, put it in the hoop, and did it so consistently. So he picked up things really easily. And then towards the end of his life, just doing arts and crafts. And we actually took a little giraffe figurine, kind of like wooden, that he made and like colored and stuff. A little toy car.
That was so sweet.
Actually, these are just like little magnets. I don't know if you can even really see them. They're pretty tiny, but I took these because they're just super simple. But you can just kind of mold them into, whatever your heart desires. But they look like little pawns from chess. Chess that I actually played your brother in, and we tied in this past weekend. But yeah, but to kind of get to not that there's a point or any point or no point, but like you said, bittersweet. I think that really describes it in a good way, because obviously I'm going to miss my grandfather. My whole family is, and but like what I was telling some of my cousins, like it shouldn't take this to get us all together, because we are family. And I think my grandfather passing really made me have a different, or want to have a different appreciation for the family that is still here. And want to hang out, and if we can do those things, I really want to, because life's too short, man. And I know my grandfather lived to almost 94. That's a long life. But if you could see family, if you can send that person a text or whatever, just do it. Right?
No, I completely agree. And it does kind of stink that like things like this always put things into perspective, right? But for me, it kind of just like reminded me that like I want to make sure that like I get to know more of my grandparents and even our own parents. Like you kind of go through life sometimes, and for example, even at your grandpa's wake, there was a lot that we learned. And for me, I wasn't surprised that I hadn't learned, but I was surprised that you didn't know that either, know? And it kind of just like put it into perspective for me that like I do want to get to know more of my parents and like my grandparents and what they did when they were younger, or like just all the stuff that they got to do when they were like our age and like barely starting their families and stuff. So I was kind of thinking about that too. And then just like you said, making sure that you like take the time and make the time for like the people that you care about in your life.
No, that was actually a really good point. Like I learned a lot. Like my grandfather worked at United Airlines for 30 years. And then I also learned that my dad started there at United Airlines for a month and then got laid off. And now he worked at American Airlines and he's still there. But like you do learn a lot. And I do want to learn more about even my parents right now. So I'm not...
Because there's times that I've asked you, like, how did your parents meet? And, like, I barely heard that story not that long ago of how your parents met, but from your dad. But, just things like that, like, you don't think to ask, but, like, I don't want to ever have to wonder one day. You want to know. You
want to know right now. But, yes, rest in peace, Papa Chris. Love you. We'll always miss you. And what's crazy, so on that same day, that Saturday... we're coming together at the end of one person's life. And then later that day, we get together with a group of friends, and we're kind of having a surprise birthday. Way opposite ends of life. But again, it's very similar to how it was for my grandfather. It's a bunch of friends that, we don't see. I don't know. There are a lot of my high school friends that I haven't seen consistently enough, but it takes a birthday to kind of bring us all together. And it's nice just catching up with people, seeing how everyone's doing, and I think it was a very well-planned surprise birthday party because the birthday boy, Louie, hopefully you're listening, didn't know anything about it. So it was cool to kind of all be at, one spot, just kind of, celebrating him and just getting to hang out with a bunch of people that, like I said, it probably could do a little bit better of seeing a little bit more often. And it shouldn't take a birthday or a funeral to get together with people that you actually care about.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think it was really crazy that it just happened to play out that way. It's like, yes, having to unfortunately go to like a funeral in the morning and then celebrating someone else's life that night. And it's just crazy, but it kind of reminds me that there's always this like balance to life.
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't know it was going to happen like that. But again, it just keeps like putting things into perspective. And every time we do hang out with people like that we haven't seen in a while, like it always feels so nice to like hear about how people are doing. And I think you mentioned that someone there said like you always want to see the people that like, like win. And it's always so nice to like hear what people are up to,
Yeah,
and,
no doubt.
Like, support people. And like, yeah, like celebrate things that it doesn't have to be a birthday. You can celebrate something small.
Yeah,
and like root people on.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, if you have time to be around those people, like, you should do it. I know everyone gets busy in life, right? Everyone gets busy with the day-to-day stuff, work, whatever. If you have kids, if you have whatever it may be, but you do and should make time for the people that
matter to you.
Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of been like our weekend. That was last weekend, what we've been up to and what we've been watching and kind of just doing. So
yeah. And then we'll be going to your parents' day later to celebrate your dad's birthday too.
Yeah,
like we said at the beginning.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess that kind of does it for this episode. Yeah, it's kind of, we've never talked about these more like serious or had these serious conversations on the podcast, but I do feel like, it's just kind of what we're going through, and it's not always going to be like super cheerful and exciting. And like I said, there's always a balance. So that's just kind of what we're going through.
Yeah. And I remember too, like I knew I wanted to talk about this for this podcast, and then I brought it up to you. Like, I kind of was I was like a little hesitant. I remember. Right? Yeah. I was like, well, I think it would be a good idea for us to talk about this. And you were thinking the exact same thing, but you kind of I think you wanted me to bring it up first. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it is important. It's obviously, unfortunately, it's something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Unfortunately, we're all going to lose people that we love, and we're going to celebrate people that we also love at the same time. So it's unfortunate, but it was something that we felt strongly that we wanted to talk about, and that's what couples coverage is all about, right? We're just going to talk about
whatever we have going on.
And that was what we had going on this past week. But I think that's going to do it, babe. Episode 28.
Love you.
Go. I love you too. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to Couples Coverage on YouTube. Hit that bell notification. Then send it to somebody. Send it to somebody that you think would also enjoy this podcast. If you're someone who just listens, again, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Really, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok for your social media fix. But that's going to do it for episode 28. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Bye.